Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for attending this webinar, where we will show you how you can master Power BI by harnessing insights in a flash with Jet Analytics. My name is Ryan, and I'm the channel manager for Asia at Insight Software. Joining me today is Kelly Robertson, our solution engineer, who will be driving us through the demo after my quick introduction, and also Clarice Theo, who is our channel associate, who has helped put this webinar together. For some housekeeping items, please note that there is a Q&A panel. So if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to type that in over there, where either of my colleagues will answer right away, or if we don't have the time to, we'll reach out to you after the webinar to have that conversation with you. Now, before I jump into things, I also wanted to thank Samadan for inviting us to share our solutions with you. As an FYI, we have been working in partnership with Samadan for about 10 years now, and they are our top partner based in India. So trust me, you are all in very good hands with Samadan. To give a brief introduction to Insight Software, we help enable the Office of CFO to connect and make sense of your enterprise data in real time to drive greater financial intelligence across the organization. Across all the statistics you see on the slide, the key one that I'd like to highlight is that we have over 30,000 customers globally today, of which more than half of them are Microsoft Dynamics customers like yourself who use our Jet suite of products. And across the many different products that we offer at Insight Software, the Jet suite of products, which you will see shortly, is our flagship product. So from the many conversations that we have had with customers, I wanted to share with you a few of the common challenges and pains that businesses face when it comes to BI, dashboarding, and reporting. Firstly, we know that every business is unique, with unique processes and different specific business needs and how the business analyzes their data. Because of this, being able to easily tailor and customize reports and dashboards is critical. We understand that. However, because the limited standard reports and dashboards you get inside of Microsoft Dynamics isn't sufficient, and customizing all of this in Dynamics is too complex for end users, it leads to heavy reliance on expensive IT or specialized resources to do this, which typically leads to them becoming a bottleneck. And because of this, users end up resorting to time-consuming and manual methods to copy and paste or export or data dump data from Microsoft Dynamics into static Excel spreadsheets, which needs to be transformed into the right format or model for Power BI and or for preparing reports. Because of the very manual nature of this, it is also very prone to human error, which impacts data accuracy. Secondly, this then leads to a whole bunch of disconnected and static Excel spreadsheets, which aren't user-friendly and interactive. Because of these Excel spreadsheets, dashboards and reports are disconnected from your live Microsoft Dynamics data. End users are unable to interact with the data by filtering by certain parameters or dimensions on the fly, and unable to drill down into any of the lower level details for deeper analysis. Then my third point, another big challenge, being able to easily pull data across multiple companies inside of Dynamics and or across multiple data sources that are disconnected from each other. All of these scenarios add up to a significant amount of complexity to prepare your reports and BI dashboards, especially if you're doing this manually, therefore making this even more time consuming and tedious without the right solution. So on a high level, all of these challenges lead to what we commonly see on the left side, where an excessive amount of time is spent on manual time consuming, repetitive tasks to prepare reports, update reports, to get data into the right format for easy dashboarding, etc. Therefore, leaving very little or no time for performing the actual analysis. And that's where we come in to help flip that pyramid upside down so that we minimize and eliminate all the manual repetitive tasks through streamlining and automating your processes therefore opening up so much more time to perform actual analysis, which is what value adds to the business. So how are we going to help you achieve this? Through Jet Analytics, of course, which is our corporate BI and analytics solution, which also comes with Jet Reports included for real-time financial and operational reporting. Before I hand things over to Kelly to show you the demo of Jet, we have a quick poll, which we request for you to participate in. Just a few short questions so that we can get a better understanding of the kind of challenges, perhaps challenges I did not mention yet that you may be facing today. So please help to participate that. Clarice, you can launch the poll if it's not launched yet. So we'll give you guys a couple minutes to do up the poll. All right, thank you guys so much for your participation. We appreciate your inputs. With that, I will hand over the time to my colleague, Kelly Robertson, to take us through the demo.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. So what you can see on the slides now is just a very high level structure of what Jet Analytics is, how the data flows through, so that you can get an idea when we start to talk of more of the reports and the Power BI is where your data is coming from. And one of the really great things about Jet Analytics is that you can combine multiple sets of data into some really report-friendly sets of tables and into the multi-dimensional cubes so that when you are reporting on the data, whether it's through Jet Reports in the Excel add-in, through Power BI, or through the cubes, it's all there. You're not having to look up across multiple sets of data, and you know that everybody's getting their data from the same place. So one of the examples that we see quite commonly at the moment is that people are moving from or have moved from NAV to BC or from AX to F&O or finance and supply chain. They have a backup of their old database, and then they've also got their live database with BC data or F&O data. And now when we want to do trends and longer term information, you're needing to get data from multiple places. What you can do with Jet Analytics is combine that legacy database you see at the top with that Microsoft Dynamics database, along with any CRM data, maybe some Excel files. You could have data sitting in things like Salesforce or any of those other tools. We connect to almost 100 different products. And then you bring all of that data through into the data warehouse. And from there, you can start to write your reports or connect your Power BI through. Also really helpful if during the process of you upgrading, you've re-looked at your customer codes or your GL account codes, things like that. You can map all of that information in the background so that when people are building their reports, they're not having to worry about which code changed or where the information is. It's just really easy and it flows. And it's really moving towards that single source of truth so that however you access the data, the results are the same. So let's have a look now. I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to start, if you think back to that diagram that we just had on the screen, we're going to start from the very right-hand side and look at the outputs. This is one of the reports that should you have Jet Analytics in your environment, you can download these templates directly off our website. They're ready to go. They'll connect to the data in Jet Analytics, and you'll have this data there as a really good starting point in your Power BI dashboards. And then from there, you can make changes and really add to this or create new ones. But one of these examples as a starting point is the sales overview dashboard. You can see we've got information broken down by company. So this organization has 2 companies in their BC. We've got years. We then also have one of their dimensions, which is breaking it down into company, and then down into the different breakdowns of customer, sales and profit by month, some mapping here, and some cards over here. So what it's doing is it's using what Power BI is really good at, which is the visualizations, and then it's also taking advantage of what Jet Analytics does well, which is bringing all the data through. So what you'll see on the side here is we've got our sales cube that we've connected to. We have sales order transactions, so all of that information that's not posted yet. We also have all of our posted transactions down the side here. And then we have a whole lot of dimensions that we have brought through. Now, the sales cube that you're looking at and the information here, this comes as part of a pre-built project. So you would install this, you would have all of this data up and running, just like when we were talking about the report templates. And then from there, you can add on your dimensions, any of your custom fields, any of your other data sources. And instead of you having to create all the views and the calculations and things in the background, so if I just click across on here, and instead of having to have this created and set this up in the background, you're able to connect directly to our sales cube and then just select what you need for these reports. So what it means is that people that don't have a technical background, but they know the data and they know what they want in their dashboards, they can start to build these dashboards without having to worry about where the data comes from. So this is just one example. I can pick a company, the data will update and interact as needed. Another way of having a look at the data is this finance dashboard. So this is connected to our finance cube. So it's data coming out of the GL entry table if you have BC or NAV in your environment at the moment. And this is just looking at sales versus budget, cost of goods versus the budget across the top in these cards. And then it also breaks it down further, looking at revenue and operating expenses. Now, something that can be done in these cubes to again making the building of your dashboards a lot easier is you can bring through calculated values like year to date as an example, so that it accumulates all those revenue amounts from the start of your financial year to whatever month that you're analyzing at this point in time. You could have 12-month movings. You could look at things like average cost or average profit, depending on what your selections are. Now, you can build those in Power BI separately, but what can also be done and what we always suggest is that you would build it in the cube, so in the sales cube or in the finance cube. And that means that anybody that interacts with it, whether it's through Excel or through Power BI, is using the exact same calculation and is getting that consistency. So that's a finance Power BI dashboard. Now let's have a look and build a dashboard. I will just build a Power BI one quickly off our sales data, and you can have a look at how easy it is to get the data through. Something to note is that I am focusing just in what I'm showing you on finance and sales. That's just because I have some really good data in there, but this could be built off any of your data. So it could be coming from inventory, your purchasing, accounts payable, accounts receivable. If you've got manufacturing data or maybe job data, all of that type of thing can be brought into these reports. So you're not limited to just sales and finance. So let's open up a Power BI desktop and quickly build a report. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to our analysis services. Yeah. Let me just pull this view across because it doesn't want to connect quickly. And I'm going to move just across into here and we'll just connect this way. So you'll see that we've connected to our sales cube. And from here, I can now go and build the report that I want to connect or that I want to create. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just bring through some cards across the top. And I can bring through something like this. And I want to see as one of the first things that I'm analyzing is just outstanding sales. So there we've got our outstanding sales. I can set the size of my card and just create that. And then from there, we can change this outstanding sales, and we actually want to see posted sales as well. Now these cubes can get updated on a schedule that you choose to. So some people we see choosing to update this just once a day, and then these cubes can be used for all of the analysis. Other people are updating it quite often, every 30 minutes or hourly. And sometimes if people only are posting their sales once or twice a day, then we might just update just after this posted sales process has been finished. So let's put some slices in there. I'll just drag this across here. And first one is company. So I can just set that up over here. And then if we do another slicer for, maybe we have one of our dimensions. Like that. And as a final slicer, we'll just bring through salesperson. And you can see all of these dimensions are here. They're ready to go. And we can just choose, let's bring name. There we go. Now we've got their names. Now let's have a look at a trend of some sales and some average profit. So I'm just going to bring that through. And we'll select sales. And let's bring an average profit into that. And we'll just bring through year over there. So now we've got a nice trend and we can see the profits really dropping off in 2019. And then let's look at location as well. And we can just drop that down here. So we'll just bring our locations in and maybe some sales. And as a final point, let's just bring through a donut over here or a pie chart, and we'll break that down again by sales, and we'll have a look at our second global dimension and break that down there. So there, very quickly, because all the data is pre-populated and pre-calculated in the cube, I've managed to pull through a dimension without having to worry about the calculations and the joins of any of the tables. There'll be people that'll build much prettier dashboards than I do, but this is just a quick way to show you how quickly you can bring that together using Jet Analytics. So now that we've looked at some Power BI dashboards, what I quickly want to do is just have a look at it from an Excel perspective and from seeing what the data is in Excel. And that's because as much as we see people using Power BI and moving to Power BI, there's always people in the teams that still need to interact with the same data in Excel, just because they may need specific formats or they need to just analyze the data in a different way. So just like we have with our Power BI dashboards, we also have pre-built dashboards in Excel using the same cubes. And from here, this is just a finance dashboard that we've built off the finance cube. And again, it's looking at actual versus budget. And this is one of those reports that you could download off our website and very quickly use. Just another example to show you is a sales dashboard. We've used very similar data to what I built that dashboard off, but it's just using sales information in Excel. But if I wanted to do further analysis, I can also come through here into our Excel, and I can use the Jet ribbon, which you'll see at the top here, and I can actually use the pivot tables and connect to the cubes to do even further analysis. So this could be maybe we need to extract some data, or we just need to understand a trend, and we need to get really or be able to move through various levels of data. And often what we see at this point is that people are having to extract data from BC or F&O, maybe in big files, and then put pivot tables over to then do that analysis. So what we can do here, if I just go to pivot table, I can then pick my cubes. I'm going to use sales again for this example, and I can now, it looks exactly the same as the one that we built on that Power BI dashboard because it is the same information. So I can now just quickly go and pick sales. I can maybe pick my cost. I can break that down by company, and then further down by maybe an item category. I can put a date across the top. And this might be that you might have states in here or different companies. You're having to consolidate data across multiple companies within your data. This is a really good way of bringing that data through and then being able to reflect it across the different levels. So now you'll see I've got a few years worth of data, my sales and cost broken down by my item categories and my companies. If I want to get into a lower level, I can always expand my dimensions all the way down, year, quarter, month, day. I could have weekly hierarchies built in here that would reflect across all of my dashboards. And I can also get all the way down to document number, customer number, item number, so really detailed. And just by double clicking on a number here, we get right down to the lowest level of information, and I can see exactly what's driving my data. So here you'll see we've got some documents, some items, all of our locations, the salesperson, and all of the other attached information here to help us do all of that analysis. So it's a really powerful way of getting your data in whatever form that you need. And what we see is many people are moving away from having multiple files and multiple extracts and things like that, and they're moving towards using these cubes, whether it's in Power BI or in Jet Reports, and then they just giving the sales teams or the finance teams or whatever team that access that they can go and do those extracts, and it's not always coming back to one or two people to continually do those extracts. And then finally, you can still do your reporting in that more structured form because there's always going to be the need for more of the structured form like income statement. So if we just have a look here at this income statement that should be opening up now. If you do have Jet Reports, this may look familiar. If you are not using Jet Reports, this is another way of building reports using the data that we've just been looking at in Jet Analytics, but it still gives you this very structured format that is often still required for any of your reporting, your board packs, that type of thing. So you can still keep this very structured, very formatted view, but you can also have a look at the dashboards. You can do that on the fly analysis in the cubes, and then you've also got all of your Power BI data there as well. So Ryan, I think we've covered a lot of different sets of information. Are there any questions that have come up or anything like that?
Let's take a look. Okay, one question.
Yes.
Can we explain the benefit of using Jet Analytics rather than Power BI directly by ourselves to connect to the data source and build reports?
Yep, of course. It's a very common question, that. So I think one of the key points is that you're always going to have people within an organization that will need data in Excel and in Power BI and in all of the different formats. Now, if you do all of your data and all of your analysis in Power BI, then you're going to have to recreate those connections or recreate those reports in Excel so that people can do their analysis. What we see by using Jet Analytics is that you have a source that you can then connect to in whatever way is required by the different teams within your organization. The data is the same, the rules are the same, all of the calculations are the same, and you then are not trying to balance across multiple formats, or you might have one person that only builds Power BI and somebody else that builds your Excel, and you might end up with a slightly different rule. So that's one of the benefits. The other one is that we have these pre-built projects specifically for Business Central or for F&O. We connect to your data source. We've already got the cubes pre-built. So you get the, I think it's 6 cubes. So you've got inventory, purchasing, payables, finance, sales, and one other one that I can't.
Manufacturing, if they do
yes,
have that.
manufacturing as well. So those are pre-built. You would download the project, and that data is there and you just add to it. So that's a very quick way to get your BI project up and running, and then you can add to it rather than having to start from that blank page point. So those are the two big ones, and then there's a lot of other smaller ones that happen that are more specific to different businesses. Anything you want to? Did I see another question come through?
Yeah, one question just came through. If I want to create a custom slicer value, then how do I create using DAX?
So you can use DAX and use your Power BI exactly as you normally would if you're not connecting to Jet Analytics. But what you could also do is then create those values or calculations or slice of fields, I suppose, in the cubes using things like MDX or using additional dimensions. So that means that you can then create it in the cube, and then it can be used by multiple people in a whole lot of reports or different Power BI documents or pages. So you've got different ways of being able to tackle that depending on what you're solving for.
Yeah, and I also just wanted to add as well. I mean, like what also comes together with Jet Analytics on top of all the out-of-the-box components is an ETL automation tool called, I mean, we call it the Jet Data Manager. And this is also a much more user-friendly, easier tool to use when it comes to, managing that ETL extract, transform, and load process. Because traditionally, if you're using SQL, you need to know how to write SQL queries, DAX queries, MDX queries. If you're using Power BI, you need to understand and learn Power BI's proprietary language to house and transform that data, which, is very technical and it's not easy and very time consuming to do. You will typically need very specialized technical resources to do that. But with the Jet Data Manager, it's much easier. You don't need to do any manual querying, coding, writing scripts and all that, because it's all drag and drop, click and point user interface. We don't have time to show you the Jet Data Manager, unfortunately, but if you're interested and you'd like to see more, you can certainly reach out to us and let us know, and we can do a deeper dive, in a separate session with you guys. Now, just being conscious of time over here, we will certainly get to everyone's questions, but unfortunately we can't do it within this session itself. Kate, is there anything else that you wanted to show from your side?
No, that was the last part that I needed to show. Thanks, Ryan.
Okay, awesome. And again, thank you guys for the questions. Please keep them coming. We will get to that. I wanted to do a very quick sum up. So let me share my screen again. And Kelly, just to double check, you're able to see my screen?
Yes, I am.
Okay, awesome. Right. Yeah. So just before, we hand over to the remaining time to Samadan, I wanted to flash this slide once more, just to do that sum up. Before the demo, we did touch on this slide. We spoke of a few common challenges faced in BI, in reporting. And now that you've seen the demo, I hope you have a clear idea of how our solution helps eliminate, those common pains we spoke about. As mentioned, and as we saw, we have in Jet Analytics the out-of-the-box report and dashboard templates, over 100 altogether. In fact, we have the pre-built data warehouse and BI cubes that gives you that very rapid time to value, that very rapid quick start on your BI project implementation right upon installation of the solution. So that saves a lot of time and costs. So that's another couple points, in addition, based on the first question we had. And also very importantly, Jet's very user-friendly tools, empowering users to be more self-service, to eliminate that reliance on IT, on technical resources, which is also a huge benefit, so that your IT and technical resources can focus on other important projects that benefits the business as well. Then automation and streamlining, optimizing those reporting and BI processes, again, going back to helping you save time, helping users be more productive. Then again, for real-time financial operation reporting, especially finance users, they need that live connection to the Dynamics for that real-time reporting capability, because their processes, for example, month-end closing, audits, etc., is very, very time-consuming. And we all know finance don't have that sort of time to waste to do a lot of very manual and time-consuming repetitive work. And last but not least, of course, being able to easily blend data across multiple companies and multiple data sources for easy reporting and BI dashboarding, all from a single source of truth, so that everyone within the business is getting the same results, the same analysis from the same data with no discrepancies. So like I mentioned again, if anybody is interested to dive deeper into what you've seen, please feel free to reach out to us or to Samadhan, and we can certainly organize a personalized demo specific to what you want to see, specific to your challenges and needs. So with that, I shall hand over the time to Samadhan.
Thank you, Ryan. Hello, everyone. This is Kumar Satyam from Samadhan. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Ryan, please let me know when it is visible to you.
Sure.
So is it visible now?
And yes, it is.
All right. So yeah, so we are Samadhan, Microsoft Gold partner. We have over 35 plus years of experience in IT and over 20 years of experience in implementing ERPs. As of now, we have implemented 85 plus ERPs across 9 different solutions in 9 different countries. Now, talking about the partnerships, of course, we are the gold certified partner of Microsoft. We are also, work through a partner for the SAP implementation. Insight Software, here you are, one of our most, favorite and treasured partners. And we are doing a webinar with them. Thank you so much, Insight, for this webinar. And we are also partners with, other partners like Netronic and Equisys and Dynamic Web and so on. All right, so what do we do? So, Microsoft offers solution in Dynamics 365, as we are calling it, that is in focus today, and Power BI, of course. So what do we do as Samadhan is, since the product that is delivered from Microsoft is off-the-shelf product, we bring in the industry specificity, right? So we customize it according to your requirements, the industry that you come from, and we make it tailor-made for you, so much so that it looks like this ERP was built for you, right? In particular. So, this is what we do. We create world-class, highly industry-specific ERPs, with our offices in India and US. So we are headquartered in India. We have another office in US. And based on all these years of experience, we have a very deeply specialized domain knowledge, right? That complies with Industry 4.0 solutions in paper and packaging, printing, and fashion industry as well. So in whatever we do, we try to achieve excellence. We are excellence enablers. Excellence in the sense that you visualize what you want as a business, and we'll try and achieve that for you in the most customizable, user-friendly manner. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, right? So industry-specific solutions that we offer, broadly from the categories of paper and packaging ERPs and from fashion ERPs. So if you see, we have different solutions in paper, corrugation, right? Folding carton, composite packaging, forest product, and other packaging ERPs. And when we talk about fashion ERPs, we are talking about apparel, textile, we are talking about tannery, we are talking about leather goods, and so on. We also offer our add-on solutions for Dynamics 365, both for BC, that is Business Central, and FNO, that is Finance and Operations. Jet Report and Jet Analytics, here we are once again. Then AgniLink, Zetadocs, Plant Maintenance, HR and Payroll, Quality Control, EPC. You can see from this slide that we have tried to cover the length and breadth of the industry. We try to learn and experiment and gain that experience from different industries. We believe in versatility, and that is what we do. So if you see right from commodities, where we have handled industries like tea and rice, to IT services, right, and all the other industries in between, fashion, leather, paper, packaging, right, and printing. Of course, the printing is there. In all these industries, let me once again reiterate, we have industry-specific solution, and that is where we excel. That is where we have the niche in the market. This is our global presence, right? Right from the US to the Middle East, and all the other countries in between. In Europe, we are there. In Africa, we are there, and we are also in, the Southeast Asia, right? So I was talking about our locations. So we are headquartered at Ranchi, India, and we have another office in California, US. Some of our most prominent partners are located in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Singapore, Malta, Europe, and Dubai, UAE. We also have a very good customer base in India across industries, as I mentioned before, right? Packaging and paper. And we really are proud of some of the biggest names in the paper and packaging industry, not just in India, but outside of India as well. Let us, talk about a little bit of the platform that we are, discussing in this webinar. But before that, there are three questions. There are three things that matter to every industry, big or small. So the first thing is faster time to create value. Whatever you're doing, you're trying to create value. How can you achieve it faster? And since the environment is so dynamic, it is actually highly dynamic. There are lots of internal factors. There are lots of external factors. How do you increase that agility? How do you, come back again on your feet if you're, bound to fall, or if you've fallen down? In the sense that, the environment is changing and you are trying to be in sync with the changes that are happening, which is quite fast, actually. Overall, what you're trying to do, the biggest challenge for you is to reduce the cost, right? Cost in terms of reducing down the cost of production, right? Which you can achieve through innovations and, innovations in ideas and innovations in production and other operations. You can also try to reduce the cost by reducing the wastages, right? That you are having in your organization, in your businesses, right? And that is the ultimate goal. So faster time to create value, enhance your agility to be in sync with the ever-changing environment, and ultimately reducing the cost. Okay, so this is the Microsoft stack of products, and we are talking about Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central and Finance and Operation. We are also talking about Microsoft Power Platform. So if you see the foundation of all these and other products are, Microsoft 365, as we used to call them as Office 365, then LinkedIn is there, then GitHub is there, and Azure is there. But the foundation remains the same for all of them. Identity is there, security is there, the overall management is there, and most comprehensive enterprise compliance is also there, right? Which is one of the best one in the industry, and that is what Microsoft does, and that is what we do. Being the partners, we try to accomplish the mission and vision of Microsoft, and we try to align our mission and vision with that of Microsoft. So what we're talking about, Ryan was also talking about this, and Kelly also talked about this. At the heart and soul of it, at the core of it, what lies is data, right? That is what drives intelligence, right? Now, what do you do with this? What you do essentially is these four things. You engage your customers, you engage with them more and more in a way that brings more productivity and your relationship become more strong, right? You also empower your people through the data that is there, through the automation part, through the intelligence that data draws out for you, right? You empower your people within the organization. You optimize your operation. I was talking about, innovation. I was talking about reducing down the cost. So you optimize your operation and you transform your product. So creating value, that is what we're talking about. Now, being at the center, at the core of all of these things, the data and intelligence, which is very much a part of the ERP, the platform that is, it helps us do these things more efficiently and effectively. This is what I was talking about. These are the different apps, biz apps as we call it, which is at offer from Microsoft. And at the bottom, if you see, they are all being handled with the analytical tool called Power BI, as Kelly was mentioning, and Ryan also was mentioning, which has been listed down here, right? So the main categories are sales and marketing, where you have all these apps, and then there are services, right? Customer service, field service, and all that. And there are other apps belonging to finance and operations, right? Business Central is also there if you have a look over there. And of course, Dynamics 365 Commerce is there. Power Platform, of course, is there. All right, so some of the statistics of the users that are using Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. More than 250,000 organizations each month are joining this brigade, right? Where they're using Microsoft business applications, specifically Dynamics 365 and Power Platform, right? Which is almost 97% of all the Fortune 500 companies across the globe. Now, this is the new child on the block. We are talking about AI. It was always there, but it has never gained so much of importance and limelight as it has today. So Microsoft is a big advocate, a proponent of AI innovation, right? And through its decades of research and development, it has proven it. It is committed to advancing responsible AI. How do you responsibly use it, make it available to your users, your customers? So it being responsible ensures that it is secure from the start. The reliability is there, the performance is there. You scale up and AI is going to match up with that scale, right? With its large AI models. So much so that it is trusted by AI leaders like OpenAI. So at the bottom of it, the foundation remains the same. It runs on trust, right? So Microsoft Cloud, it runs on trust. And the second thing is your data is your data. Now, when we're talking about data, we're talking about the transactional data, we're talking about the analytical data, and also the observational data. Now, your data, the business data remains your data. That means we are not going to use your data. Microsoft is not going to use that data for trainings or enriching the AI models used by others. That is what it says. Moreover, your data and AI models, they are protected by the most comprehensive enterprise compliance and security controls, as I mentioned earlier, also in the industry. So it has its own set of standards. And the bottom remains the same, that your data is your data and you can trust because the whole foundation is run on trust. This is one slide which is quite interesting. If you look at the slide from the bottom and as we go up, if you see, the manual processes get converted into automated ones. That is the power of data. That is the power of artificial intelligence. And if you look at the top, because we are gold certified Microsoft partners, we have to be in sync with them. And we are proud to be doing that for, quite a good number of years now. So with built-in AI, Copilot, Office 365, powerful business analytics, we deliver something which is data-driven, AI-driven at the heart of it, at the core of it. If you see, we'll start from the bottom. The data, and there is more and more manual processes when there is not so much of data and not so much of intelligence built in the system. there is data that is transactional data, right? Which helps you create reports through dashboards and reports that is there, right? In Dynamics 365 ERPs. So the reports tell us what happened, all right? Simply what happened. There's nothing more than that. Now, the Power BI part, when it gets involved, again, a part of the dashboard, it helps you, make the dashboard more interactive in the sense that whatever data you had, right? And through the data, whatever you gauged as to what happened, now you are in a position to understand why did it happen? What are the reasons, right? Based on that, if you see the manual processes part is reducing down with the, the data getting infused in, the AI getting infused in, and the cash flow and inventory forecasting is just one of the examples where, once you know why did it happen, there's a trend that gets established, right? And with the help of those trends, at the core of it, the data is working, the AI is working, you start generating predictions. The system generates predictions. If you see, again, the manual processes are further reduced. And at the top of it, no manual processes whatsoever. All that has become automated, right? So automated in the sense that the ERP now tells you, gives you recommendations based on what happened, why did it happen, what will happen. It will give you a recommendation as to what you should do as a business. That means your decision support is, it is backed up by data and AI, and you become so much smart. It's real-time data, right? And it is data driven, not at the whims and fancy of somebody, but it is data driven. So that is how we start from being, manual in our processes, carrying our processes to becoming more and more automated to the extent where, the ERP, the system gives us the decision support in our decision making. Some of the statistics at the bottom of the screen says, with the continuous use of this ERP that we're offering, that is Business Central and F&O, Microsoft Dynamics 365, cost of goods sold, there's a 10% reduction in that. There's a 6% reduction in the shop floor staffing, which could have been avoided. Now you can avoid that, right? So you can reduce down that by 6%. You can enhance your employee productivity financially in financial terms to 20%. And there are other enhancement in employee productivity, which is intangible, non-financial in nature. Of course, that is there. And there's a 3% left in wholesale sales revenue. That is also that something you achieve with the usage of these ERPs, which are, very futuristic. All right. So yeah, Ryan, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening, and hope you have a very good webinar moving forward. We'll try and answer all your questions. That will be all from my side, Ryan. Thanks.
Thanks, Kumar. Once again, that marks the end of today's webinar. Thank you for the participation, with the poll and with the questions as well. We will certainly reach out to do follow-ups with you. Again, if anyone wants to dive deeper, into Dynamics 365 or into the Jet Suite of products, please feel free to reach out to us. Once again, thank you very much, and I hope all of you have a great day ahead. Thank you.